Assalamu alaikum, High Oracle Reiki Spiritual Healer. And today we are talking about our full moon cleanse, November the 5th. And so that's coming up on Wednesday to remove this negative energy from us. This is a super full moon cleanse. So we want to remove the negative energy that has been sent to us by the colonizers, by the enslavers. We want to send that back to, their people, to, their young people, how they are trying to harm us on different fronts in the diaspora, in the Sudan. Those oppressors who are there trying to, bring those people into an even further, oppressive state. So we want to make sure that we're praying for those people in Sudan, Nigeria. We want to make sure that we're praying for those people in Gaza and our brothers and sisters who were affected by the Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica. So we want to make sure that we are praying for all of our brothers and sisters. And this super full moon cleanse, it is going to send back that negative energy. Because obviously the entity is upset because a lot of you have awakened to the negative attacks upon the minds, the hearts, the sacrifices for your children, as we see again with the benefits and the people who are around us, the people who are in alignment, in agreement with the entity against their own people. So we're asking for, clarity and separation from those people who are in alignment with those people. And so my point here is that, if it is a negative spirit that has been hired to attack us, that has been hired from slavery, I can't even get it out, from slavery, then that negative energy can be removed. If it's a higher spirit that's sent to you, in your household, that's sent to your life, your finances, your health, then that negative energy can be removed. And so that's what we are doing when we are working on ourselves with these full moon cleanses. And we've done many full moon cleanses. And I thank each and every one of you who are in support of cleansing yourselves and purifying yourselves on certain days. And you can read, again, Surah An-Nur, and you can read Psalms 91 in order to set your intentions over your water and your oil. You can also set the intentions over your incense to remove any kind of negative energy. In many cases, this negative energy that comes from these colonizers have settled in to our people as fear and emotional lack of self-confidence, that we cannot break out of these negative entities. And you can see many images on the internet. You can see many images on the news and on TV. So, we want to make sure that we are cleansing that negative energy of oppression and fear with the hawthorn root. And that is to remove any kind of emotional blockages from you. You're asking God to protect you and remove those emotional blockages of fear that has been set in our lineage over time from the colonization of our people, from the enslavement of our people. So we want to make sure that we are asking God to send that negative energy back across the diaspora to those people who have enslaved the people of Africa, Nigeria, Sudan. We're praying for all of them, the help and the restoration of Jamaica and the Ghazian people. So we're not alone. We have to make sure that we are praying for ourselves here in America, that we have the restoration, that God removed the fear, not just from some of the chosen ones, all of the chosen ones, and wake all of us up in order to fight against these negative entities, that we fight on different fronts. That we fight, not only in the court system, we fight for the educational system. We fight for our community, our homes, to be restored. To be restored to the just order that, that's what we have, the men for, to go to work, that the women do not have to go to work in this society unless, unless we don't have that in our lives, unless we don't have the male leadership in our lives. We want the restoration of our children, the educational system of our greatness to our children, not just the knowledge of what the 4th of July and the independence is for. So, as we remove the fear from our people, from the hearts and minds of our men, from the hearts and minds of our women, from the hearts and minds of our children, our young people, our elderly people who are understanding that this system, is crumbling. It's crumbling with the weight of racism. So we have to make sure that we're in alignment with each other in order to unify and to make sure that, there are strength in numbers, that we support each other, that we care about each other, that we love each other, that, when we see something that is, great, we call it out. When we see something that is adverse, then we call it out. You don't have to be nasty. You can pull things to the side, pull a person to the side and say, I don't think that this is right. But when you want to, harm people like the slave master would do their wives and do their children, harm them in front of people, public humiliation on the job, in the leadership in the White House, as we have been seeing from the last term to this term, then we want to steer away from those types of behaviors, because that can, also, that's a spirit of arrogance and pride, and it can be returned to sender. So we want to make sure that we are cleansing ourselves from this negative energy, and we're doing our super full moon cleanse. And let's make sure that we understand what this the last full moon was the sturgeon full moon, and this full moon is the beaver full moon. So when we think about the beaver, then we think about, building construction. We think about castoreum, the scent near the the anal part of the beaver. So, they use that to make different kinds of scents with. So we want to make sure that we're understanding that building and prosperity, they use their fur also to make, coats, hats, and all of these types of things. So when we're thinking about the beaver, we're thinking about the community. They have a strong sense of community, the beavers. They have a strong sense of building and construction. So we want to make sure that that's where we are in this full moon cleanse, the beaver super full moon cleanse. And we're cleansing those negative energies so that you can have a sense, and we can have a sense of what our entire community is going through. We have 360 degrees of knowledge of what's going on around the world, because it really doesn't make any sense to have a ceasefire and send people back into a war-torn country and then start bombing them all over again. So, when we are having these types of issues in the world where, people are setting up on, a small group of people, we have to make sure that we're calling it out. We have to make sure that we're standing up. We have to make sure that we're praying against it. We're cleansing ourselves and sending that negative energy back. If it is a spirit of Pharaoh, if it is a spirit of Nebuchadnezzar, if it is a spirit, then it can be cleansed. If it is the spirit of pride, if it is the spirit of fear, if it is the spirit of abandonment, if it is the spirit of lack, of uneducatedness, if it is the spirit of, these issues that we are individualized as a people, as a nation, that can be cleansed. We are in the season now where we are coming together, and I see more and more of our people, of the chosen ones, coming together in different ways. Now we have to come and call these people out even more. We have to take this to them. And like I said, somebody must have heard me, sue these people. There is no way that, they can give you the benefits, then cut off the machines. They're letting you know that they're in control, but we need to let them know that, we are the consumer. They do not have a job without us. So when you come over here on my channel, at any time, whether it's a full moon cleanse, I'm going to give you the truth. I'm going to give you the Bible verses, and I'm going to give you a purifying way that you can cleanse yourself and ask, God to protect you from these attacks and these negative energies that has been up on our people for, the longest time, so that, it ends with us and it doesn't go over into a generational curse. Whatever we have to do in order to make these people, submit to what's right, to what's truthful, to, what God has given us, the right that all men are created equal and that we are free men, that we will have to, do what we have to do. And cleansing is just one of them. Like I said, and we have been talking all last week, weaponizing the system against us. We want to cleanse that. We want to cleanse that, what they have given our fathers over into, doing nothing, being in fear, being in lack, letting somebody else, shifting the blame on, the weaker vessel. We're not with that. We are cleansing this negative energy with this beaver supermoon cleanse, and this negative energy, this sense of community that we will have, going forward. This cleanse is going to send this negative energy back to the colonizers, back to the ones, to the very beginning, to their very core. So as long as they try to sit up on us and attack our people without a cause, without reason, the haves attacking the have-nots all over the world, to bring the dark-skinned people, the black people under a low vibration, all of that is going to be returned to sender. So, let's pray against it. Let's make sure that we're unifying in our communities here in America. Make sure that we're reaching out with our resources. And even if it's $10 or $20, send to, our brothers in Jamaica. Let's make sure that, we are, in solidarity together. And make sure that we are letting each other know that we care about each other, and the fear has passed during the night. So I thank you so much for your support. Please like, share, and subscribe to me. Book your one-on-one consultations with me. Please, you can leave your comments, and make sure you're letting me know how you like my content. And book your life coaching sessions or your video chat sessions. You can donate to my channels over any of my platforms. I'm High Oracle, Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.